You know, there are a lot of people who allow the death in the family, the death of a loved one, to run them distracted. I've known people lose their minds over that. When my father passed away in 1939, of course, I knew he was going to pass away. We knew what his condition was, and we knew it was only a question of time, and I conditioned my mind so that it could not possibly upset me and make the slightest impress on me emotionally. I got a call from my brother one evening down at my estate in Florida, and I had some rather distinguished company there talking about publishing business. And the maid came in and said that my brother wanted to speak to me on the telephone. I went out of the room and talked to him for 3 or 4 minutes. He told me that our father had passed away and that the funeral would be that coming Friday. And we chatted a little while about other things, and then I thanked him for calling me and went back to my company. Nobody knew that anything had happened. Not even many members of my family knew until the next day what had happened. There was no expression of sorrow nor anything of that kind. What was the use? I couldn't save him. He was dead. Why grieve myself to death over something I can't do anything about? You say, that's hard-hearted? No, it's not hard-hearted at all. I knew it was going to happen. I adjusted myself to it so that it could not destroy my confidence nor make me afraid. In matters of that kind, now, as serious as that, you have to learn to give yourself immunity against being upset emotionally. You know, when you're upset emotionally, you're not quite sane. You don't digest your food. You're not happy. You are not successful. Things go against you when you're in that frame of mind, and I don't want things to go against me. I don't want to be unhealthy. I want to be successful. I want to be healthy. I want things to come my way. And the only way that I can ensure that is to not let anything upset my emotions. I don't think anybody can love any deeper nor more often than I have. But if I had unrequited love circumstances, and I've had that circumstance once in life, I could let that upset me very badly, but I didn't. Why? Because I have self-control. Because I won't let anything destroy my equilibrium. Nothing at all. I didn't want my father to die, but as long as he was dead, there wasn't anything I could do about it. There was no use of me dying along too, just because he had. And I've seen people do just that. Just go ahead and die because somebody else had died. That's an extreme illustration I'm giving you, but it's certainly one that's needed by everybody. We need to learn to adjust ourselves to the unpleasantness of life without going down under them. And the way to do that is to divert your attention away from the unpleasant over to something that is pleasant, and then put all of the enthusiasm you've got back of that other something. Your life you're entitled to have complete control of it. And remember from this day forward that your duty to yourself requires that you do something each day to improve your technique for the expression of enthusiasm, no matter what it is. Maybe I've touched upon some of the things that you can do, but I haven't touched upon all of them. Maybe you, in your circumstances and considering your relations with other people, you know something that you can do to step up your enthusiasm so as to make you more beneficial to some other person. And I want to tell you something, and this is a very appropriate thing for the closing of this lecture. If you have a mate and you can work up a relationship with that mate where the mate compliments you in every place where you're apt to be weak, then you've got a fortune beyond compare, a fortune that you can't estimate, an asset that's beyond comparison with anything else in this world. Because that mastermind relationship between a man and his wife can surmount and go around and master all difficulties that they may come into contact with. They do it by multiplying, joining their mental attitudes and multiplying their enthusiasm, turning it on each other at the places where they are in need of it. And I thank you very much.
Concentration, sometimes called controlled attention, is the 10th principle of Your Right to be Rich. It is the highest form of self-discipline. It is the act of coordinating all the faculties of your mind. It is organized mind power. It is a way to concentrate all of your efforts behind the definite major purpose of your life and achieve it. In brief, the essential function that concentration serves is to aid you in developing and maintaining habits of thought. Habits that will enable you to fix your attention on any desired purpose and hold it there until you have achieved that purpose. Concentration is power. Power that is within your grasp. Once again, Dr. Hill.
I've never known of a successful person in the upper brackets of success in any calling that hadn't acquired great potential powers of concentration upon one thing at a time. You've heard people speak of others, intending it to be derogatory, by calling them people with one-track minds. Have you ever heard that term?
Yes.
Well, anytime anybody says, I have a one-track mind, I want to thank him for it. Because there are a lot of people that have multi-track minds, and they try to run on all of them at the same time and don't make a good job on any. I have observed that the outstanding successes are people who have developed high capacity to keep their mind fixed upon one thing at a time. When you have learned to concentrate on one thing at a time, you have learned to key yourself up to where you can see yourself already in possession of the thing that you're concentrating on. Motives, the 9 basic motives are the starting point of all concentration. In other words, you don't concentrate unless you have a motive for doing it. If you wanted to make a lot of money, for instance, let's say you wanted to buy an estate, a farm, and you concentrated on money in the upper brackets, you would be surprised at how that concentration would change your whole habits, attract to you opportunities for making money that you never thought of before. I know that's the way it worked out, because some years ago I wanted a 1,000-acre estate. Of course, I didn't know at that time just how much 1,000 acres was, but I was concentrating on 1,000 acres. And it cost approximately $250,000 to get the land that I was looking for, and that was a lot more money than I had at that time. But almost from the very day that I fixed in my mind the size estate that I wanted, opportunities began to open up and develop for me to get that money in larger blocks and hunks than I'd ever gotten it before. The royalties on my books commenced to increase. Demand for my lectures commenced to increase. Demand for my business counsel commenced to increase. So I had just sold myself on the idea that I had to have the money. I was going to get it. I was going to render service for it.